Welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 show to bring you all things Club America in English. Your hosts for today, Ivan Pineda, Christian Rosendo, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Dylan Jimenez. Let's start the show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the long-awaited Eagle Eye Podcast. And for those of you joining on the live right now, I did start already with the wrong intro. Those of you listening on the podcast, side of things, you listen to it perfectly fine. But look, we already made some mistakes. We're already running late, and we already are going back to how we were beforehand when we were just technical difficulties everywhere. But it's good to be back. It's good to be talking to you guys, and it's good to be here with these gentlemen. As always, let me introduce my New York co-host. It is none other than Christian Rosendo and AJ. Gentlemen, how are we tonight?
I'm doing good. Very excited to be back. It's been a while. It feels like we never left. But I'm just very fortunate that things can align and we could all be together once again. And what a time to be together again right at the start of Liguilla after every rocky start. I'm sure we're going to hit on all points of the season, but just overall very excited to be back with you guys.
Definitely exciting times. AJ, welcome back.
It's been too long. I actually missed podcasting. I can't believe it. We're here. It's finally time to talk everything Club America in English.
Definitely. And it's great to see people joining in the comment section. Kevin Paris saying, is it true? It is true. We are back here. AP Jr. saying, finally, some Eagle Eye podcast videos. We have our fourth co-host, or fifth, if you want to put it into context that Dylan isn't here with us. Chris Rivera saying hello. Unfortunately, he was unable to get on the podcast. And he's already calling saying, tell them the truth, Ivan. You the engine of all of this. I am not the engine of all of this. Is just like Christian said, stars had to align for everything to actually come through. And but we're happy we're here to talk all things Club America. I know it's been quite the hiatus. We've been gone for the entire regular season that was this Clausura 2022. But with that said, I think that we're excited, like Christian mentioned, to be back during the Liguilla madness. And if we want to just touch up and recap exactly everything that was America for this 2022, I think it's simply said, it's been the second coming of this team. After looking like we were just down in the dumps, we were already crucified, we were buried underground with Solari. Things turn around once Tano comes in, right? And now look at us, fourth in the league table, which is something that if I'm just questioning you guys off the top of your head, if I was to tell you when America was down in last place that we were gonna go and finish fourth and go directly into Liguilla, would you have believed that?
So no, but I think, Chris, if you're listening, I'm pretty sure when Solari got fired, I think I sent a text in our chat, and I was like, "What if America goes undefeated, like from now until the end of the season, and somehow we make it into top 4?" If I find that text, I'm gonna post it. But no, if you would have told me that back then after our draw against Querétaro, I definitely wouldn't have agreed with you. I would have told you that we would have made repechaje at least, but to be top 4 and right into Liguilla, it was definitely not looking promising at that time.
At all, AJ, would you have taken those odds if someone was like, bet the house on America finishing in fourth or higher and getting a direct spot in the Liguilla? Would you have taken it?
Hell no. I'm saying in me, I was already like, we're tanking this. That's it. You might as well just play the youngsters, see what happens. But here we are now.
And it's interesting that we didn't follow that approach, because I know you weren't the only one calling for that, AJ. I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, you know what, this is a done and over season. Let's just give the youngsters a chance. Let's put the youngsters out there. These new guys aren't doing it for us. And Solari leaves. Fernando Ortiz comes in. And now we're looking like a much better team with much better players, but they're the same players that were under Solari, and you have a whole different dynamic. And it would have been interesting if we would have put the youngsters in. I don't know if we would have gotten some of the results that we get, Christian, with these youngsters.
So no, I don't think so, because I think after Solari left and Daniel took over, there were certain players that kind of just had a spark that they didn't have at the beginning of the season. To name a couple, Roger Martinez and Diego Valdez, I think those two are the most improved from the Solari to Daniel move. You're seeing Roger just become a difference maker, and it seemed like we really missed him against that match against Cruz Azul. And Diego Valdez is like, wow, like what a player we got. In the beginning of the season, we didn't really get to see the best of him, being out of position a little bit, not really coming into form, gelling with the team. But from the time that Dana took over until now, I think he's been one of, if not the best player for us during that time. So those two players are going to be key going into the year. But I'm just happy that we're getting to see the best form of both of them right now.
No, yeah, definitely. And you know what? It's not to say that America didn't have luck coming into this position. I mean, Kevin puts it perfectly here, right? Puebla bottled it. We got fourth on a goal difference, which was still pretty close in the end. But look, sometimes you just kind of need that kind of luck in what could potentially be
You
a
always need luck.
championship year. Could be. I don't know. It's too early to tell, of course, but it's sometimes you just need this kind of lucky moments in the season. And America definitely got those. I mean, look at games where I thought that we weren't going to end up coming away with a victory. The Necaxa game is a perfect example. I just thought that game was going to be a 0-0, right? But fortunately enough, we get that goal in the last minute of the match. And here we are, right? We're talking about an America side that's completely improved, given a full 180, AJ. And like, Christian mentioned, there's some players that are looking much better than when they started, right? Diego Valdez is looking like what we all expected Rolfo Montenegro was going to look like. So it's looking like a much, much better gelled team. What do you think has changed as far as the dynamics of this team goes for us to look like how we look today in comparison to what we looked to 6 months ago under Solari?
It seemed like the energy as a whole just completely changed. I don't know whether it was like a locker room issue, just players just were not feeling comfortable with Solari anymore. It just seems like as soon as Dano came in, this guy was just recently managing our youth academy team. We just put him up there. First, everyone questioned why him, because his assistant's actually been with us way longer, the one that we currently have on the first team. But Dano has played in this league. He's played for Santos, even for America at one point. So he seems to have an idea to how America functions as a team. Yes, as we mentioned, we did a full 180 with the same exact players, and people's wondering what just happened. I just feel like as a whole, players just seem to trust what Dano was doing. Dano was definitely putting players in a position where you will see them be thriving in the most. He didn't put any players in an awkward position which they've never played or tell them to change their play style. The formation he gave is like, these are the guys I'm going with for every single match. That's how it's going to be. If I'm going to make one or two changes, it's not going to be changes where it's like we're giving a youth player minutes like we've never seen before. We have options on the bench, even though on paper it doesn't look that great, but whenever he seems to put those guys in, they give 110%. And as a whole with Dano, I think just his logic and just what he does every single game for America, it just seems to work the way everything is. We were no longer that possessive side playing really boring football. We started to go onto the attack more. We're definitely creating more opportunities for us. And any chances that we take, we'll take them. Yeah, some of those shots may not end into the back of the net, but the bright side, we were not afraid to attack anymore. It's not that situation where if we scored one goal, we were going to just play back for the rest of the game and hope we can live it. No, Dan Ortiz wanted more than one goal. If you want to see examples like that Toluca game, yes, 3-0 in reality, that game could have been more than 3-0.
Yeah, and I mean, perfect example too would have been that Leon game, which I think we could have demolished them, but we didn't take our chances in that aspect. But Christian, AJ puts a perfect example. This was a side that before 1-0 was more than enough for them to get through the game. Now it looks like there's that hunger, there's that desire to push and want more, and something that we kind of really highlighted Solari's time under was the fact that he was able to get clean sheets, the fact that he was able to kind of manage these close games, and improve what looked like the defense. If you think about it, Fernando Ortiz has been able to come in and not only just do that, but also improve the offense. I mean, you're talking about a team that averaged since his tenure to right now almost 2+ goals a game.
That's
right.
Correct.
And that is impressive in that sense, because we were used to a 1-0, 2-1, 2-0 max under Solari, right? We always thought 2-0 was the new 3-0 under Solari. But now we were just accustomed to goals after goals after goals, which is exactly what the Americanismo is used to and is supposed to be. Right. And it's finally nice to have it back in a sense.
Of course, and I think AJ brings up a good point. I think that we're not afraid to attack anymore, and also the positioning of Sendejas I think helped us a lot in the right wing. I think we finally have a player that can play on that side, which just opens up avenues of opportunities and chance that can be created, especially when you're combining them with Valdez and Fidalgo. It's just America's just a scarier team to play against when going forward. And like you said, Ivan, when in the Leon game, we should have put at least 5 in the net. We could have had 3 against Tigres in Tigres. And to your point, it seems like the team is just so much more compact and gel together that they're playing for one another. That, okay, once we lose the ball in the offense, everyone just seems to kind of run back and play defense, but they have no problem in doing so. And they're all just so coherent and gelled, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. And we got to give it up to Daniel Ortiz to kind of just bring that squad back together, that mentality of, we lose the ball, let's defend as a team and let's attack as a team as well, instead of just, maybe just like individualistic approaches that we had earlier with Solari. Just give the ball to Fidalgo and let's see what he can do, open up an avenue. Now it's more than that. And even though Fidalgo isn't as flashy as it is before, he's still playing an important part, but I think it's a part that allows his teammates around him to just shine, and that's overall just is contributing to the success of this new America team. And it's going to be an essential factor going into the playoffs as well.
Definitely, 100%. And I think you put it perfectly in that every player now finds a key role in that starting 11 position. You mentioned Roger, which I think is something that we thought, oh, the second coming of Roger was under Solari, and then it kind of dwindled a little
Fizzled
bit.
down, right?
Yeah, and now under Tano, I think he's kept him in that left wing position or left mid, however you want to put it in perspective. But this is a Roger that even when we're defending, I see him down there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay,
it's the most I've seen Roger defend since his time at America.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Like it goes back to what you were saying. All of these players are playing for each other as a team, as they should be, right? If we lose the ball, we all go and we try to get it back, right? And same goes when we attack, we all go and we try to attack. So yeah, we definitely missed Roger in that Cruz Azul game, like you mentioned, and like Chris says, we beat Cruz Azul if Roger is in that position. And that's probably the reality of it, So, and Kevin put it perfectly too. Big up to Tano for staying with the team after his mom passed away. That's a lot of respect right there, and it shows the commitment and the dedication that man has for this team and for this opportunity. That look, someone asked me once. He's like, "Oh, do you think Tano will get the position as the manager for America?" And I said, "There's only one way he gets that, and that's if he gets us to a semifinal. If America gets to a semifinal under him, I see the board giving him another season."
Right. No, I agree.
It just
because if we get eliminated in this round, it's like, where's the improvement?
Exactly. There is none.
There's none. Even though we've had a good turnaround, nothing's changed.
You get past the core, then there's change at that point. We get past it.
Yeah. And at that stage, then you look at that and you say, you know what? Yeah, there was some real improvement, and the fact that he was able to do this in so much shorter time than Solari was, then you give him the opportunity to stay as the head coach. So I mean, we'll see. Apparently, it's already confirmed that he's getting another year, according to Gibran. But you know what? Gibran's been a little bit under the fire lately on Twitter. Okay? So let's just hold off on that right now, because he's going against Record, and Record's trying to go up against him. Let's just leave it at that.
Journalists just going at it one another for the news. I'm like,
I love it. It's what the Americanismo provokes, right? Always wanting to know, be in the know about what's going to happen.
Right.
But overall, good turnaround. Team's looking much better. Let me ask you this, gentlemen, before we start talking a little bit more. Look at that. You're even ready to give me...
Can we be sponsored by
Gatorade? I think we're going to get taken down after that. But yeah, sure. Why not? But let me ask you this, gentlemen, before we jump in a little bit any further. Would you consider America, under everything that has happened, and the position that we finished, and the play that the play style and everything that we just talked about, would you consider us as favorites for the title right now?
I want to say, okay, so this is me being a little biased because we are America fans, so I'm always going to say yes. But if I want to take that all out, I think no. I still think Pachuca is the number one favorite, they've just been out of this world this season. From start to up to now, they haven't lost a beat. And that's scary. Obviously, the gear's a different thing, and anything can happen, right? But if you want my football America non-biased in this way, I think Pachuca. But it's number two. I do think it's us. I think Cruz Azul's fizzled out a little bit. Tigres might not be the same with the not 100% Guignac in there. And it just seems like they fizzled down as well. Atlas, same thing. Everyone just seems fizzling down in that top spot of the table. And honestly, the two teams that I do see that could make a run is us and unfortunately Chivas.
Yeah, I was gonna say she was picked up
Right.
their form as well.
Exactly. So it just seems like we're just picking a form at the right time. And sometimes I think Chris put it perfectly because in the chat he always mentions this. He goes in the past couple of seasons, America's always been number one. We've been number one throughout the whole season. We're always the favorite to go in, right? Like, and then we fizzle out in quarterfinals, right? Who's to say now that maybe we're not the number one team coming in? We're picking up form at the right time, and maybe that's what we needed to kind of get us over that hump. Hopefully he's right. I want to say that he's right because I think a form has a lot to do with it. So if you want my top three, it would be Pachuca, America, Chivas. That's for sure.
Definitely. I mean, it's the reality of it. Momentum is key, and again, right? It's the fears of the ghost of Liguilla past for America, right? When repechaje was implemented again, is the fact that you're coming into this with a game behind that you maybe lost, maybe that part of momentum, but I don't know. I see something different about this America side, right? Even though that we're gonna be out, even though we were out this week because of the whole repechaje situation, you still saw them play against Atlante, and yes, they smacked them 10-1. And okay, make the argument that Atlante maybe didn't feel their best team, whatever.
Didn't Otero score 3 goals?
Otero scored 3 goals. Like that in itself should tell you that it was just it was a crazy game.
Otero scored 3. Viña scored 2. Royer scored 2. Jonah scored 1. Jordi Silva scored 1. And an auto goal. At this point,
that tells you it all. That tells you it all. But it's interesting because even those games under Solari and Piojo, it was always 0-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1. It never really looked like it amounted to anything, or at least that the players didn't think of it as an opportunity to actually go out there and train. Right? They were just like, whatever, second division team. We're just here to kind of get our legs stretching. But this one, it felt like everyone came in it from the get-go and says, you know what, we're gonna go. And the fact that they ended up 10-1,
10-1, showing no mercy,
no mercy.
And if I'm not mistaken, I mean they are the chance of ascenso. So I mean, I know it's a friendly, but I mean,
goddamn.
Yeah, they're the chance, but it's something at least. You were able to smoke them 10-1. They couldn't smoke. They couldn't smoke Tlaxcala or anything. I think they only beat them 2-0. I think it was.
Yeah.
So
that's bad.
That goes to show that the mentality at least has changed in Coapa,
right?
From the players, right? It's not more of a whatever. This is just a little pickup match. It doesn't really matter for us. This is another game. We're gonna take it serious, and we want to build up on our momentum. So we're gonna score 10 goals, right? And that does something to you, at least on the psychological aspect of it, from a player's perspective, right? Because Viñas just scored 2 goals, and let's be honest, Christian, Viñas is going to be the starter come Wednesday against Puebla, right? I don't see Henry starting over him. Look, Henry's a whole topic of discussion in itself, but I think our starting forward for this Liguilla is going to be Viñas. So for him to score 2 goals against Atlante, even though it was just a friendly, it does something, right? It builds momentum.
Yeah, confidence boost, right?
Everything in that aspect. So it's going to be interesting. AJ, do you take America to be one of the favorites for the title?
No, honestly, even though I feel like a lot of people are gonna like throw a lot of heat at me, but I just feel like, yeah, I will see if anything changes, if we can get past quarters. And depending how we look in quarterfinals, maybe my opinion can change. But in the meantime, no, I don't think we're favorites for titles, for the title.
Yeah, no. And if you ask me, I'm answering the same way, no. Because it's just I don't know. I guess from what we've seen in the past, and from the fact that again, it's kind of this fear of that. Okay, we're again at I thought the repechaje was gonna be a blessing in disguise because I thought we were gonna come in picking up even more form. But again, Christian, you talk about Pachuca, even though I mean, Chris said they did end up losing to Pumas, who have been terrible. But overall, in the end, I think it's gonna be interesting. There's one thing for sure: you can never count America out, no matter what. And I don't want to say we're the dark horse of the Liguilla, but I do think that there will be some people eyeing us to maybe potentially win this that aren't Americanistas. So we'll see what happens. And like I think AJ, you put it perfectly. We need to see how we play in these quarterfinals, and that will determine everything, right? First game is going to be on Wednesday against obviously we know our opponent is Puebla. So first game is going to be at the Estadio Cuauhtemoc. That is going to be at 9 p.m. Time in Mexico. That's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then 10 o'clock Eastern. So it's pretty late game for you guys.
That's okay.
So,
I like the late games.
It's weekday matches as well, so it's bound to be late. I enjoy it. I enjoy late
I
matches.
honestly thought we were going to get what I thought was weird was the Saturday schedule, but I'll talk about that right now. I thought we were going to get the
I thought we were going to get
Pacific
Thursday and
Standard Time.
Sunday because Puebla played last night. So I thought they were
I
going to
did
give them
too.
the extra day
I
of
did too.
rest.
But they
I
didn't.
guess not.
No, the check cleared. The Televisa money came through again.
The
so
check
now
definitely cleared.
But
Maybe we shouldn't say that because then people think we're serious.
Yeah, no. Hey, you never know. I'll take it.
But then again,
even
I don't
if
know.
you have to buy it.
Hey, listen, I don't care, honestly.
Dylan saying definitely the dark horses of the tournament. But Kevin saying
horse.
the yellow horse
Horse.
in the end. Yeah. So put all your money on the yellow horse this weekend if you guys are betting over in Vegas. So let's talk Liguilla, gentlemen. We're coming into this one, I would want to say, in pretty good form, right? Defensively speaking, we've looked solid. I think Chris wanted to touch upon this. Let's talk about the form that Ochoa is currently 1 goal in 10 games, including the national team. But that's not only to highlight Ochoa, but the defense as well. Look, I know we've criticized him in abundance, but I have seen even a turnaround in Bruno Valdez. And that's saying a lot because this is a man that we all were ready to, just completely cut off from the team. Not to say that he's still going to be our defender for next season, but I think there's got to be some merit there and say, you know what? Yeah, there was an improvement even from Bruno Valdez. I saw him against Tigres and he looked absolutely just focused, determined to get everything out. Didn't give anyone a chance to breathe. And you saw it. I don't even think he had a chance to even do anything that game.
Pocketed.
Exactly. Very much pocketed.
Nowhere to be seen.
Defensively, I think America's looking good, right? Ochoa is in tremendous form. That's no surprise. World Cup's right around the corner. He's going to want to be in his best shape for that competition. But defensively speaking, I mean, you're looking at George, who's played much, much better, right? I see him trying to do 5-star skill moves whenever he's trying to go up the pitch. And they're coming out. They're working out for the most part, which is the most interesting thing to me. Right? And you have a Luis Fuentes that looks just like he's 26 years old.
Yeah, honestly.
I don't know how that man does it.
Bench
right?
Chava Reyes as well.
Yeah, bench Chava Reyes.
You can't replace Luis Fuentes. Like, that dude's just something else. Like, the one thing people always want to criticize for him, his age and his pace. It's even gone to the point that they're even asking the directors, like, who we're going to replace Luis Fuentes. We didn't even mention Chava Reyes. We literally just said who's replacing him. Dude just plays out of his mind. He just seems to get anyone that's on that left-hand side and just stop them completely. You even see him at times just even going up to make a run for it. Yeah, he ain't got the pace, but this dude does not stop. And honestly, at first, people looked at him saying, "Why we signed him when he was originally alone?" Now look at him. He's arguably the best left back in this entire squad. Well, he is. Maybe if you want to say maybe top 5 left backs in the league and for this season.
Oh yeah, 100%. Kevin puts it perfectly. Fuentes is the Mexican Dani Alves at this point.
Hell yeah.
Which is, I mean, honestly, yeah, true to that extent. But defensively, I mean, even the center back partnership, which has been Cáceres and Bruno, and sometimes at point Mere and Bruno and Cáceres,
right?
They both look pretty strong, right? I don't know what your guys' take on Mere is. I personally do like him. Because I feel like he's very physical, right? And you need that type of player sometimes.
Right.
Not to say that he still isn't who we think we expected him to be. I think he still has that adjusting period going on right now. But for the most part, this man comes in and he has one thing in mind. He's either going to get the ball or he's going to get you. And, I think he's done a good job so far from what I've seen. I know there's improvements to be made, but I feel just as safe with him next to Cáceres as Bruno next to Cáceres.
Right, exactly. So it's a good point you made because we've been kind of criticizing the center back partnership for a while now. And to the fact that we're giving them a little praise right now because they've been stronger than what we've seen, it's just good signs. And with Mere, I think that I think he's been a good teammate. I think he understands the situation that he's in right now, to kind of support and fill in when needed. And I think when he has filled in, I think he's done a great job. If you would tell me right now, Mere and Cáceres or Mere and Bruno are going to be your starters for the Liguilla, I wouldn't have any problem with it. But like you said, though, I think the center back partnership right now, it's been better than what it has maybe in the past, I guess, 2 seasons.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Luis G coming in the chat saying, been a while, fellas. It definitely has been, Luis, but nice to see you. Hello. How are you doing? Kevin Perez saying, does Aquino start or do we stick to the Richard and Fidalgo center mid partnership? We'll talk about that in just a second. And then Alex Juarez saying, saludos, Azul Cremas. Saludos a usted. All right, gentlemen. Great guy.
Great guy.
Absolutely great guy. Christian, you had the luxury to meet him.
Yes, I did. Great guy.
That's awesome. Oh, absolutely awesome. Let's talk Puebla here, right? Because they're coming into this one, like you mentioned, not that well rested, right? They technically didn't go into extra time, but they went to penalties. It was a pretty long round. They look pretty gassed. They are going to be short a man because they got a red card in their game against Mazatlan. So things are pointing in a favorable direction for America, but even then, I think that this is still a Puebla side that you saw that after the game, after the penalty shootout, their manager got them together and saying, you know what, we need to tighten up, we need to do better. This is our chance. Yeah, we have America, but they're not impossible to break down. We tied against them on the regular season. Why can't we do it again? Yada, 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 hyping up his team.
Right.
So I think the idea for America is to do exactly what they've done this whole season under Ortiz, is go in there, play your game. Don't worry about the opponent. Don't worry about the rival. Play and focus on your match and attack. That's simple, right? Because this is a Puebla team that if you attack, they do bend and they do break, right? So just keep going at it. Keep forcing it. I'm looking at two very key players on that wing, which is going to be Roger and Sandejas.
Of course.
I think going to be two very, very pivotal players going forward. And to be honest, I think this game is won whether or not Diego Valdez is feeling himself that night.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have some pretty good chances. I think he's going to have some pretty good opportunities from outside the box. But what is your guys' take on this? Before anything, how do you guys feel about Puebla to begin with?
So to me, Puebla is actually on a decline. If you look in before last night, in their last 5 games, they've won once, drew once, and lost 3 times. And they've had 3 L's back to back before that win last night. And they could have very easily lost last night as well. So they're not in the strongest form right now, which America should be looking at and saying, okay, how can we capitalize on a team that hasn't been playing well? And like you said, Ivan, I think it comes down to Diego Valdez, but more importantly, I think that midfield just needs to overwhelm them to the max from minute 1 to minute 90. I think they need to be all over them. Don't let them create. Don't let them get in the groove. Don't let them feel like they can grow into the match when you should realistically have them in your bag from minute 1. I think that Valdez as well as Fidalgo are going to be the 2 important players in this series to kind of just make sure we play our game and let it run the way we want it to. Don't let Puebla think that they have a chance in this series because, like you said, their coach is very motivational. He knows how to get the best out of them at any given moment. And all they need is basically one goal, and then they become prime Barca. So don't let them get into this series. And I think that America has the capability of doing that. I think if they stick to their game, as they've been doing, we should be in good form. But I do fancy our chances against this Puebla who has been declining in these past couple of matches.
Oh yeah, I agree. Jose Sepulveda saying you guys are back. Nice, missed you guys. Jose, we've missed you as well. Believe it or not,
Facts.
Definitely missed you. And missed all of you guys actually. So, but Christian, you make a great point, and I think AJ, to reiterate on that, if you want to break them down mentally, I think the easiest way to do it is to get an early goal. right?
Most definitely, just like we did in the first game of the season. If I'm not mistaken, it was like what 7 seconds or so we happened to score.
Something like that.
It was something
7, 9
like that.
seconds, right?
Like I remember, I think it was either me tweeting the game or so. I didn't even get enough time to look at what just happened because I think they put like some ad or whatever. But yes, no, an early goal is most definitely what we need. But remember, this is against the Laca boys. These guys, they've been on something throughout this entire season. Everyone I get thought from the first games like they're gonna be nobodies. Next thing you know, they're now in. They just beat Mastrana Repechai. Now they're gonna play against us. And as Christian mentioned, their head coach Nicolas Lagramon, this dude just knows how to get the best out of his players. And at that point, it's really like you mentioned, get that early goal as soon as possible, break them down. These guys are not These guys are not unbeatable. You definitely can. Don Ortiz is getting the best out of these guys. Lacamon's getting the best out of his guys. It's really up to both these coaches and they who gets the most out of their players. For Tano, it's going to be really important knowing that we have not been past quarterfinals. He's definitely going to have that goal in mind. I'm getting these guys past the quarterfinals too. It's beating Puebla. That's what we need to do. Let it be known from the first game to plant your best foot forward and give everything you got. As you mentioned, attack, attack, attack.
Definitely. No, I agree. And when we have to come together as a team, and that's the one thing that I do think that is possible because we've been playing as a team to come out and finally play with that objective. And the on the attack side of things, America has been very well in opening channels, taking shots from outside the box. I think the one thing we've lacked in is our 1v1 opportunities, right? I'm talking to you, Henry, and sometimes to you, Vinas. But overall, it's been very impressive, this America side, because even on the defensive side of things, there's been moments in the game, and I've noticed this when I'm watching this. Dan Ortiz has done very well. He picks and chooses his moments to high press, which I think is very important. He doesn't do it almost always right away. He waits middle of the match or towards the end of the second half, but he presses. But when he presses, the team presses as a whole. It's not just the forwards and then the midfields kind of just sit back. No, it's everyone's pressing. And we force some mistakes here and there, right? So I think that's going to be important. You playing against this Puebla side that might be nervous coming into this, knowing that, okay, we barely got past Mazatlan in penalties. Now we got this big team in America. What are we capable of doing? If you put some of the pressure on these players, I think you're more than capable of making it happen. So I'm looking towards that high press, see what they're capable of doing. And look, really, whoever's up top, whether it's Vinas or Henry in that match, you got to put your chances away. It's in that moment of time, like, okay, yes, you may have missed an abundance of opportunities in the regular season, but if that meant that you were going to come in and be clinical during Liguilla, then by all means, all will be forgiven, right?
100%.
So go in there, take your chances, and walk away with a win. I think it's more than doable, right? This is not a side that's going to go out there and be like, all right, I think we get a goal here, and then we defend a little bit. We should be fine. Like, this is a team that's like, all right, no, if we can finish this off in the first game, then let's finish it off in the first game, right? So, and besides, too, the travel isn't that far. The travel isn't too bad. It's not like you got to think about that aspect. Also, either you're down in Puebla, Mexico City is like right here. You're less than 2 hours away. Like, you don't even have to worry about any of that stuff. So, I think America will be hopefully taking their opportunities, playing the game that they have been playing for the utmost part. And like you guys mentioned, the midfield is going to be key, which goes back to the original question. Do we keep Richard and Fidalgo, or do we switch it up and throw Aquino in there?
So I think we should stick with Richard and Fidalgo. I think that's been working for Daniel, especially in a game like this. I'm not gonna discredit or try to minimize Puebla, but I don't think they have enough to kind of for us to be like, okay, maybe we need a true CDM in there. I think with the way they've been playing, and it's kind of, and Aquino just came back from injury as well, so he needs time to kind of get back in the groove of things, and he kind of looked a little off in the game against Cruz Azul. So I think that we need to just relax on him for a little bit. Maybe he can come in later in the game and kind of be like that person to kind of relieve everyone. Okay, I'm here. Let's settle down a little bit and let me control. But I think for the time being, I think we need to stick with Richard and Fidalgo.
Yeah, I agree with that aspect. AJ?
Nah, 100%. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, I know Aquino was one of our key players when we brought him. He was definitely the guy we were gonna put in that center defensive mid position. He's gonna stay no matter what. He's trying to recover from he's 100%. So stick with what we have in Richard and Fidalgo.
No, yeah, 100%. And that's been the record of the season, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, this starting 11 has not really moved. If it's moved, it's because of an injury, and that's about it.
Right.
But
Or
I've liked that. There hasn't been rotation, and I think he's understood that because there's no need to, right? Such a short
Exactly.
season. You got to keep momentum alive, and if it's working, just keep it going, right? So should be interesting. I like the idea, and we'll have to wait to see what happens. I'm interested. I'm curious to hear what everyone else's prediction is. I'll ask for your guys' prediction right now, but I want to get some more predictions. So if you guys can leave them in the comment section, let me know what your guys' prediction is. Not just for the game against Puebla at Puebla, but just kind of overall aggregate. What do you guys think the final score is going to be? Let me know. And so moving on to that, let's say America does walk away with a very good favorable result. It's going into the Estadio Azteca and not even managing the game. It's going in and playing a whole different game and saying, okay, now we got to go out there and beat them in our home stadium too, right? Maybe with a little bit less pressure, because if you have a good favorable result, then okay. But it's having that mentality, that winning mentality that, okay, the job's not done. If we can go and beat them 10-0 on the aggregate scoreline, why not go ahead and do it, right? The more the merrier. Just build on that momentum. 100% build on that momentum. I already see a couple of results coming in, Dylan. I have a lot of questions to ask you, but it's fine. As long as that result is in favor of us. How do you guys expect the Saturday matchup to go? Because it's oddly enough a weird time too. It's Saturday kickoff at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. No, sorry, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. 6 Central. I thought that was a weird time.
7 o'clock is a weird time.
I
thought it was gonna be the late game.
I thought so
9
too.
o'clock, 10 o'clock game for us at least on the East Coast. So yeah, definitely an odd time.
I feel like they want to do that because to try to fill that same up at least because that's a good time. 6 p.m. on a Saturday, considering the Azteca most people are getting our work maybe like around 5 and they're around there. It's good for them as well. And the sun is still out as well. So it's not that bad in the areas. I think that's how they're trying to make the game early. And it's also good as well, get this viewership up 7 p.m. on a Saturday. That's pretty good. Get yourself some tacos, media, whatever, pozole, you get to watch an America match. The comfort of your own home. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. It's going to be interesting. That the weird kickoff time. But you know what? Maybe we need a weird kickoff time to kind of break that little, that little Liguilla curse you got going on. But all right, how do you guys see America in the second leg at home?
Like you said, I see them firing on all cylinders. I think that the one at home we're going to see a more offensive prowess, something that we're going to be proud of, and something that will give us that confidence to say, okay, we're gonna win this thing, right? After that Puebla match, I expect us to kind of come together and be like, yo, we're gonna win this thing, right? So that's what I expect. But what I've expecting the past couple seasons hasn't kind of turned out the way I wanted to. But hopefully that is the mentality that these players are going into Saturday with, and they just need to make us proud because it's been a while.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree with you on that aspect. If you're Tano Ortiz, what do you tell these guys, AJ?
Mira, pongan huevos, juega con tu vida, 100% en la cancha, everything. These guys need to know how bad they want to get in past the quarterfinals. It's been a couple seasons that we've been stuck in that rut every single time. We just never seem to get past that. This season is going to be the season where we're getting past that and keep moving forward and hoping to lift that trophy. The fans want it. You guys want it. And I want that too. We're going to give your all in front of the home fans and play to the very end of the whistle.
Yeah, I agree. Right. And I think his voice is very much one of the players listen to. And right. I think you guys seen some of the videos too that America posts before the players go out, right? Ochoa's given some words before as well, and I think him as the captain, as the leader, he has that responsibility too to keep the weight of the team on his shoulders, and it's going to be interesting, right, to see how these players come out. But I think the attitude has to be right from the get go, away at Puebla and finish it off at home at the Azteca. Really going to be key how well these guys are coming mentally and physically as well. But I think on that aspect, the teams, the you know the managerial team has been doing a very good job on that aspect. I see everyone fit. I don't really see anyone out of rhythm. Even Jonah, who I thought was going to come in and maybe be a little bit lackadaisical, he's come in and done a pretty good job whenever he's got minutes. So
coming decent.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how this team prepares itself. But overall, I think it's an America side that's capable of overcoming this side, and we'll see what happens, right? You can never know with Liguilla, right? So it should be interesting. But I'll tell you this much, and I don't know why, it just came to me today as I was on my lunch break. I was like, you know what? This would be the season where America gets to the final and sees Chivas in that final.
So that's very possible.
It is.
Yeah.
That is very, very possible, actually.
I think that's what
And-
everyone's wanting to paint it as, honestly, as well.
And you know what? If that happens, that is the most nervous, scared game I would ever be to watch in my entire life. That's the one game watching I would be nervous. I would be shitting bricks as soon as the referee blows the first whistle.
How do you think the managers feel? They literally just replaced the head coaches like essentially midway through the season. They're just like, it's my job now. I gotta do something with this team. If you get past it, you know damn well both of these guys are gonna go at it. I hope these players do too, because if we're getting a Clásico in the final, I want to see something for once, not a boring ass Clásico we've been getting in the past couple of seasons, because that shit is boring. I want a point where I'm actually looking forward to a Clásico and getting excited, because these past seasons I'm just like, oh, it's the weekend of the Clásico Nacional. Nice. But if it's in a final as well, where there's a title up for grabs, hell yeah, I'm going to be excited.
I'm not sleeping that whole week. I'm just saying.
No one is sleeping. No one is. I'll see the streets of New York in blue and yellow and red and white at this point. I'll be seeing it, especially up there by Sunset Park. Woo! That area is going to be lit with a bunch of Americanistas and Chivis that's just walking all over their jerseys on the weekend.
No, yeah, 100%. Well, look, it's interesting times at America. We're hopeful that this might be the season where we kind of get past that little hump and think about a potential semifinal run. Like I said, I think that automatically puts Stano in charge of the team, which I think maybe he already is. I don't know. We'd have to do better homework than just getting on the podcast, because I think, Chris would have had us covered there if he would have been able to make it. So, but regardless of the fact is that this is gonna be interesting. Wednesday night. Make sure you guys are ready. Come watch the game. We'll have you guys covered on the Eagle Eye Podcast. Make sure you guys follow us over on Twitter at Eagle Eye Podcast, and make sure that you guys join our community on Twitter. Our Aguilas English community. Make sure you guys are part of that. We have some cool ideas on the way for that aspect. And overall, it was nice to be able to come back and talk all things America with you guys. I think it was the right moment. Someone actually DM'd us and asked us whether or not the podcast was making a comeback, at least for this season. And I think we owed it to all of you guys to come back and talk Liguilla and hopefully spark something special for this upcoming matches. And we'll have to wait to see whether or not the team responds to that. But overall, gentlemen, it has been quite the pleasure to come back. Now, I've asked for aggregate results, and some of you guys have come back and said America advances 4-1 on aggregate. That's Jose Sepulveda. Dylan saying 4-3. Now, I'm hopeful that that's for America. And also, I don't know why we're conceding 3 goals in this leg, but we'll see. Alex Suarez saying 3-1 on aggregate. I'm fine with that. And then Jose Sepulveda breaking down his scoreline, saying 1-1 in Puebla and 3-0 at the Estadio Azteca. 1-1 draw in Puebla, I would think, is quite the upset for us. I think that we should be walking away with a victory there. We'll see what happens. Saying Alex Suarez saying if we got to a final against Chivas, is going to be Chivas' dream to finally get their chance for revenge for the 80s final. That is true, which is one of the reasons why it scares me a little bit, because I'm just like, I've always wanted just to have that one off and saying, look, we're the only ones to ever win that.
Oh my God! Now I'm picturing this: Capitan Furia scoring against Chivas, Now imagine our all-time leading goal scoring defender, Bruno
Oh,
Valdez.
Bruno Valdez, yeah.
What a turnaround that would be for
man.
everyone roasting the shit out of Bruno Valdez, saying "I love you,"
And
he
then
just
and
celebrates.
now we got to
it.
build a statue for the guy.
Yeah. Hey, you have to do it at that point, man. You really do.
What a day that'll be for Bruno Valdez. Like the day he retired, he's like, I went from being loved, from lifting a title, to being hated, then to potentially lifting up a title again, and
To now
scoring
being a
goal.
god.
And to being a god, un ídolo, up with Alfredo, then a Capitan Furia. Oh my god.
Yeah, that would be
is
some
true.
story.
That would be one heck of a story. But all right, gentlemen. Now let me ask for your scoreline predictions. AJ, what are you going with? Give me your result.
I want to go with a 2-0 win in the first leg against Puebla. I want that.
Okay, I like it. Second leg.
Second leg, let's go for. Why not? I'm feeling crazy. Let's go 3-0.
3-0, 5-0 aggregate. I like it. That's a very good result. I like them. Christian?
So I have something similar. I was gonna go 2-0 on Wednesday and then 3-1 at the Azteca.
I like that one too. I like it. Although I want to say clean sheets all around for our boys in this leg. I'm going 1-0 against Puebla and then 3-0 at home in the Azteca. And this is the first time we can actually sit here and say 3-0 and have that confidence and not saying that we're talking out of our ass and saying we're going to get 3-0.
Right. We were like idiots now, that we don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Exactly. So now there's that sense of that confidence of like, okay, yeah, there could be a potential 3-0 at the Azteca. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. And hopefully we have something good to talk about at the end of it.
Right. Hopefully we're back here next Monday talking about a semifinal.
Yes, not crying and saying why us again.
Hoping we still got a house. So
yeah, hoping we all still have a house.
That's very true.
But all right, then, gentlemen. Anything else to add on before we wrap it all up?
I think we've done a good job in covering what is to come for this matchup against Puebla. Just once again, I just want to say I'm very happy to be back right now. It was the perfect timing. I've missed this a lot. I hope that everyone who came out and sat here and listened to us for a couple of minutes enjoyed it. Like Ivan said, I think we kind of owed it to everyone to sit down and have a chat about our favorite club, the club that gets us crazy, the club that doesn't let us sleep at night sometimes. Sometimes for good reasons, mainly for bad reasons in recent times. But it's time to change that now. It's time to change that. It's time to look forward to this leg and hopefully look forward to a potential final coming on May 29th.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. AJ?
I'm just happy to just be back talking Club America. I miss it. I miss the dumb takes we have at times, some of the great takes, hot takes, everything here on that podcast. I just miss it so much, and I'm just happy to just, feels like it's back upon my normal schedule. Either I hope we get to podcast more on Mondays, start things off right, talk with you boys, everything with Club America. I miss it.
No, definitely. And AP Junior putting us on the hot seat saying, so why y'all stop making videos? And well, let's just be honest, life came in between some of the things. I know, AJ with school and everything, Christian and I with work, and I know Chris has been trying to get things going. I know we've moved some of the stuff to the spaces over on Twitter. That's why I said make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. You guys will see that we're a little bit more active on that perspective of things. But it's nice for us to be back, and we're going to definitely try to get together and find a way to maybe iron some of the details out and maybe get this going. Maybe if it isn't all of us in the same room, maybe if it's just a couple of us, we still produce something for you guys, because I know you guys enjoy it. And believe it or not, we love doing this, and we love interacting with all of you guys. So like we mentioned, really happy to be back talking all things Águilas del América. Hopeful to come back and talk a lot more stuff. And it's quite the busy summer for America too, so it's looking like fun. So we'll be talking to you guys soon, and then we'll be hopefully celebrating for the next one to come. But all right, gentlemen, again, it's been a pleasure. Great to finally have you guys. I know we talk a lot through text and everything, but we don't see each other face to face often.
Yeah, we don't.
And then the fact that we get to do this again, that's really amazing stuff. So to everyone listening out there, thank you so much. We'll hope that you guys are excited that we're back for this Liguilla preview, because we know we're excited to be here talking all things America with you guys. All right, then with that said, you guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe. We'll be back to talk about the recap of this game. And like Christian mentioned, hopefully a semifinal to preview as well. But all right, then you guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe. And as always, Arriba America. Good night, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another production of the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 source for all things Club America in English. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Eagle Eye Podcast and get all the latest news and coverage. And subscribe to our podcast wherever it is you may listen.